our second lesson on the power, the unlimited power of intercessory prayer. And I just want to tell you this bit of truth here is that all of us owe a great debt to those who stood in prayer on our behalf. When I say that, I'm thinking here, I was born into a family of a dad, mom, and two other siblings, and so 5 of us, and my dad died when I was 3. We went to church all the time, but there ended up being one man in the church that for some reason he prayed for me. I give his name. His name was Bubba Barber. He was an electrician. And I went through my teenage years, and God salvaged me and kept me from a lot. Not that I never did anything wrong, but He kept me from a lot. And I came out of around my later 17 years of age. God did such a work in my heart. Anyway, God called me to preach. I began to serve the Lord. Bob Barber ended up being in the church where I served the Lord at. And one day I went to his house. And I was standing next to him by his kitchen window. He said, "Marvin, you're standing right at the same kitchen window where every morning while you were a teenager, I got up and I prayed for Marvin Smith, that God would use his life, that God would bring him to a place where he would sell out to God." You know, I owe that man a great debt. He's in heaven now, and he's rewarded for what he did, and he has rewards. And every time I see someone say, "Fruit from my life," it goes to his account too. So we all understand the power of intercessory prayer. John Wesley said this: "God will do nothing but in answer to prayer." Now, you say, "Well, I don't think that's true." Well, you know, when you think about it, he says you have not because you ask not. So God's actually saying that I'm waiting for my people to ask me, and I'll do something. Ezekiel says, "I sought for a man among them that should make up the hedge, stand in the gap before me for the land, that I would not destroy it, but I found none." Why would God say, "I'm looking for a man to pray, a man to stand in the gap, make up the hedge and stand in the gap, so I wouldn't destroy it"? They said, why would God say, "I'm looking for someone to do that," if it wouldn't have some influence with God? There are 3 parties in intercessory prayer. Now remember these 3, okay? First of all, you have the party in which is in need. The party which is in need. The second thing is you have the power of the one you are taking the need to. What did I say? I said this: you have the party in which is in need. That'd be the person you're praying for, or the people you're praying for. Secondly, you have the power of the one you're taking the need to. That's God. And then thirdly, you have the contact with both of these parties due to the one who is in praying. So you have the one that you're praying for, the one that you're going to, and yourself, the intercessory prayer warrior. Genesis 18:22, the Bible says, "But Abraham stood before the Lord. And Abraham drew near and said, Wilt thou destroy the righteous with the wicked?" Now think about this. This is Abraham, going back to what we studied last week, is praying for the people of God. Genesis says, "Shall not the judge of all the earth do right?" Abraham's keeping, in a way, I don't understand it all, but really keeping, I don't know if you keep God in check, but he's holding God's righteousness back to him. And he says, peradventure the 50, we talked about this last time, peradventure there's 40, 45. Hudson Taylor said this: "We must learn to move man through God by prayer alone." We must learn to move man through God by prayer alone. If you could see God do anything, let me ask you this: what would you want to see God do? What would it be that you'd want to see God do? Think about this, okay? A.W. Tozer said this: "God is looking for those whom he can do the impossible. What a pity that we plan only the things that we can do by ourselves." I'm just stirring you up. I hope that you'll go from this place and find your place to get on your knees. Let me encourage you something. Get on your knees and pray. And ask God to help you learn to pray for the behalf of other people. And when we get to heaven, there'll be great fruit for this. And we're going to come back and we're going to carry on next week on this subject.